Mac Laboon Community Representative.
Cindy.
Cindy Watola, Parent Rep.
Principal Gibson.
Kimberly Gibson, Principal of Tubman Elementary.
Lori.
Lori Viets, Parent Rep.
Sarah.
Sarah Ogato, Parent Rep.
Kate.
Kate Kaczynski, Parent Rep.
Kirsten. Up you're on, oh, I think we lost her for a moment. We're still fine. Nick.
Nick Hall, Teacher Rep.
And Kirsten. Kirsten, if you're speaking, we can't hear you.
Kirsten Clay, Parent Rep.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I believe that is everyone. And so we'll move on to item 3, which is approval of the agenda that was provided on Monday. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, it has been motion and second to approve the agenda as provided. Is there any discussion? We will move to vote. Please use your icon to vote. All in favor of approval of the agenda as provided, please vote. I believe that is unanimous. Motion passes. The agenda is approved. The next item is approval of minutes. And through the rush of the summer, we definitely have gotten a little behind with the written minutes, but just I want to remind that recordings are available of all the meetings we've had. And so I just want to ask the board if everyone was able to review the minutes that were sent out. Okay, great. Then we'll do these one at a time. Let's take care of the July 23rd minutes first. Is there a motion?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Okay. It has been motion and second to approve the minutes as provided for the July 23rd meeting. Just to start the discussion, there were a couple clarifications that I'd like to suggest for those minutes. And specifically, so after this, I'm going to request that the motion be amended. And this is just to clarify the content and make sure we speak exactly to what the purpose of this meeting was. First, this was a special meeting rather than a regular meeting, so I want to make sure we note that. And Cindy, I can either go in and make these changes or just send you what I have for the final copy. But anyway, so a special meeting. Secondly, for present at the meeting, I'd like to remove Dr. Tenich's name as he was not part of the council at that time. And then just remove generally some of the language that I think is just part of the format that was used, like some places where it has location, it just says like @virtual by Cindy R. Watola. So just cleaning up that language. And then also for the closed session, which is item number 4, I want to indicate that we went in to discuss the candidates for participation in the forum. And that's just because we did not and are not allowed to vote in closed session. And then for item 5, when we moved back into open session, that is where we actually took the vote to on the candidates to participate in the forum. And then lastly, under item 4, the agenda and time of next meeting, indicate that the next meeting listed there was the next regular meeting, as we did have special meetings after this July 23rd special meeting. And I think that is it. So I would like to request that the motion be amended to update the minutes with those clarifications and to vote on approval for the amended minutes. Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? Okay, we'll vote on to approve the minutes with the amendments that I mentioned. Please use your icon to vote if you are in favor. Looks like it is unanimous. Okay, the motion carried. Those minutes are approved with the amendments as mentioned. We'll move on to the August 2nd minutes. Is there a motion?
I motion to approve the August 2nd minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll
Second.
second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the August 2nd special meeting minutes as provided. Is there any discussion? Okay, we'll take this to a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes as provided, please raise your hand. Okay, it appears unanimous. Minutes are approved. Okay, we'll move on to new business, which is the principal report. Principal Gibson, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Today's October 6th, and we're going to give the principal report. Today, I have members of the HAR team who will help give the report, and they will share out at their respective time. We always like to start with our mission. Our promise is to provide a nurturing and rigorous learning environment. We will instill within our students a love of learning by identifying their positive distinctions through academics, the arts, and athletics. We empower students to be responsible, contributing members of an international community. Our vision. As a result, Tubman students strive to be lifelong learners who are persistent problem solvers, are inquisitive about the world, have a strong sense of self, and articulate their thoughts, feelings, and ideas through ongoing reflections. Tubman students strives to be empathetic by understanding different perspectives while still being mindful of their unique viewpoint. Tubman students strive to be caring and principled and to possess a foundation of knowledge that enables them to build a more peaceful world. Enrollment update. On this next slide, these are our current enrollment numbers per grade level. Attendance. Attendance matters every day. So currently our overall school-wide goal is 96%. I'd like to report out that Tubman current attendance rate is 93.4%. And some of that attendance rate is due to students who have to quarantine, either due to being a firsthand exposure or to students who have traveled. CIWP priorities. We like to remind you of our buckets of work: social emotional learning, student voice and engagement, MTSS, and curriculum. As you can see on this slide, here are our specific CIWP strategies for social emotional learning, MTSS, student voice and engagement, as well as our curriculum. These are our CIWP action items. I'll let you guys review the slide. What's the, I'm sorry, Ms. Moore, did you jump the slides? I'm sorry. We are continuing to review and work on our CIWP priorities. We're continuing to analyze school-wide data. The data that we are currently analyzing is our STAR 360 data, and we will be analyzing our BOY for REACH. Prioritizing critical on-grade level standards and revising our IB unit scopes accordingly are also some of the work that we're doing. If you notice, your children brought home in their Tuesday folder information about our OST intervention and enrichment programs. We are trying to increase them for the winter. We currently have fall activities going on. Another work stream for us is differentiated and small group instruction and ongoing communication and partnership with families. Tubman at a glance. Tubman Heart Team. So if you remember at our last LSC meeting, I shared with you that we developed a heart team. This is our administrative team at Tubman. It is made up of me, Kimberly Gibson, the principal, Bernadette Moore, assistant principal and NYP coordinator, Frida Perillas, our PYP coordinator, Michelle McNally, our 7th grade DL teacher, Rebecca Rosenberg, who is our case manager, and Olivia Craig, our counselor. Who should be on ILT? ILT stands for Instructional Leadership Team. So we are sharing this slide so you will know who is our instructional leadership team at Tubman. There's the principal, assistant principal, teacher representatives, special education teacher, our ELL teacher, our instructional coaches, and specialists. Please review the following slides with the list of names of who those specific ILT team members. If you have questions regarding our instruction at Tubman, you can see any one of these members or reach out to them. International Baccalaureate, IB, middle years.
Okay, that's me. Hello, everybody. It's Miss Perillas. In lieu of an IB report, Ms. Gibson is asking us to present to you guys. And so I'm just going to read off the slide. This would have been a lot of the information that would have been included in the IB report. And so hopefully this kind of voiceover from myself and Ms. Moore will help just fill in any of the questions or holes that you have about what's going on with our IB program. So as you know, we officially were authorized at the beginning of this calendar year through 5th grade, from pre-K to 5th, right? So we call ourselves now a wall-to-wall IB school, and that's a really great thing to be able to highlight, because we now can really work on ensuring there's coherence across the school building, a continuum, that we're all using the same language, and we're really, really trying to strengthen our curriculum school-wide. So that's a really exciting thing to be able to do that. And just kind of, and this might feel like an overview for some of you, but the really important piece in the primary years and middle years program is using inquiry-based learning, emphasizing student agency, and really looking for opportunities for students to take meaningful action as a result of their learning. And that can, take many forms. And that's something that, depending on the age of the students and what the students are inquiring into, their action can be really small, and it can be something that happens internally if it's a change in their perspective or worldview, but it can also be something very large. And so in COVID times, we're really trying to figure out what that can look like, because we used to try to get out into the community and do a lot more of that work in the real world. And so now we're looking at how we can shift to continue giving kids out those opportunities. There's also an emphasis on making local and global connections. And so what we're constantly looking to do is to create, to use outside organizations to help bring learning into the classroom or to help connect students with people out in the field. And so currently we, the last several years, have worked with the Peace Corps and connected with Peace Corps volunteers or classrooms and teachers in other countries. And that's been a really valuable experience. Last school year or last spring, we had our students connect with a scientist. It's called the Skype a Scientist program. And we also have informally through social media been able to connect with teachers in other parts of the world who are in IB World schools. And so we have a connection with a 5th grade classroom in India, and it's super cool because the kids get to just jump on a Google Meet and talk about their world. And it's been just an amazing, amazing way of helping kids just see the world outside of themselves. Similarly, community partnerships. We started a partnership with the WE organization several years ago, and they're the organization that had come in the last couple of years and worked with our middle school students to really build up their advocacy skills, hoping that we can get some of those opportunities this year. Middle school specifically works with Facing History, and we're really having what feels like probably daily conversations about who else we can partner with and how else can we really strengthen our connections to the community. Just kind of an update of this year. In August, at the start of the school year, we had all of our DL teachers attend IB training. The DL teachers specifically attended a training called Learning, Diversity, and Inclusion. And that was really a wonderful experience. And how it is the expectation of the IB that we train our teachers specifically through IB workshops outside of what we do internally. So those trainings are ongoing, and we're really fortunate to have the district really supporting that by providing funding to pay for those IB workshops. Looking ahead, as Ms. Gibson mentioned, we are beginning to rewrite our units, and we're using extended planning sessions and then time during the school day as well to achieve those really big goals. And that will take a lot of time because we really want to be intentional and strategic about when we're rewriting units, that we are really looking at not only local and national standards, but looking at the IB standards as well as other, making sure we're looking at our units using an equity lens and making sure that we're thinking about social justice and cultural relevance and really just combing through our units and being really intentional and strategic. The other thing that we're going to be working on this school year is writing inquiry math units. So really looking at our math instruction and taking that inquiry as a vehicle concept and applying it to our current math curriculum and just looking at ways we can strengthen our math instruction. Our specialists are going to be continuing to integrate themselves into our IB units. And so that's something that we, pride ourselves in being able to be, pretty integrated in the arts integration is pretty strong, but we want to continue to refine that and make sure that it's distributed across the PYP. And then Ms. Moore and I as coordinators will be attending many district-wide meetings to help support us and also help us connect with other schools in the district.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I had to unmute my microphone. Let me go back to sharing the screen. The IB Middle Years program, as you can see on the slide, we have 2 6th grade, 2 7th grade, 2 8th grade homeroom classes. We had 5 staff members that attended IB NYP training in August. And some of the work that the teachers are doing is the same as within the PYP program. We are using some of the MFT funds to rewrite the units so that we can become more succinct as a school. Every week, the middle school team, the 7th and 8th, I'm sorry, I'm saying that wrong, the MYP teachers, they send home a weekly newsletter to every family. And as you can see, this is a copy of what the middle school for 7th and 8th grade looks like. And our 6th grade teachers send one home as well. And then we also have our specialists. They send home their weekly highlights, what's going on in the specialty classes. And again, looking ahead, we are going to do the extended planning so teachers can rewrite their units of inquiry, and the specialists will continue to integrate across the curriculums within their units.
Our school counselor couldn't be here today, so I will update the school counseling at Tubman. Delivery of counseling core curriculum lessons K through 8 and Naviance tasks 6 through 8. Her goal is to visit all 18 homerooms monthly. She works on the creation of lesson plans for academic, social, emotional, and career exploration. Teacher, parent, and student referrals for Tier 2 or Tier 3 interventions. Some of the interventions trainings that she went to and also supporting at Tubman is Bounce Back, Grief Group, and Friendship Group. Go CPS, Academic Center, and the high school application planning and process was even worked on today. We had our high school first information session this morning at 9 o'clock. Another thing that our counselor works on is attendance intervention and crisis interventions. One thing that we brought new to Tubman is our behavioral health team. Our counselor is the co-facilitator. We work on SEL resources for students, parents, and staff. She is also students in temporary living situation liaison. She helps support student record coordination, school-wide hearing, vision, and dental screenings, single subject acceleration process, student assessment and testing coordinator, MYP communication project coordination, and MYP service as action coordinator. What's going on in special ed?
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I don't think my picture is coming up. Hi, I'm Rebecca Rosenberg. I think you guys are just seeing a black screen. I'm not really sure why, but my camera is not working for some reason. Oh, I think I see why. Sorry. Hello. I forget that I have a little like privacy thing on there that accidentally gets closed sometimes. So I am Rebecca Rosenberg. I am the case manager / intervention coordinator. Here are some quick facts about what is happening in special ed this school year. We currently have 9 diverse learner teachers and 8 paraprofessionals. We have 6 teachers currently working on intervention support in kindergarten through 5th grade. 4 DL teachers and myself went to a foundational training which is a program for K through 3, but we went through the program offered this week was for 1st and 2nd grade. And so some of us went to the 1st grade training and others went to 2nd grade training, depending on what grade level they service. We are currently looking into Just Words training for middle school DL teachers. We currently have 66 students with IEPs and 32 students with 504s. We offer at our school in the inclusion and resource model, which are available for our special ed students. We currently are doing weekly clinician meetings where I meet with our clinician staff members to just review students and what's going on and just sort of do weekly check-ins, as well as doing biweekly check-ins with the diverse learner teachers. So as I said, I am the case manager. My role at Tubman Elementary is to coordinate and lead meetings for students with IEPs and 504s. I currently check in with students, professionals, teachers throughout the day and make sure that the day is running smoothly, as well as oversee schedules for paraprofessionals or special ed teachers if changes have to be made due to student need. I answer teacher questions or parent questions and provide support where needed throughout the day. And as I said, I coordinate schedules for when teachers or paras are absent and we need to sort of move people around based on student needs. My next job is intervention coordinator, which is new this school year. And just so you guys know, interventions have begun for our students. We have teachers who are working with grade levels K through 5, where we are using the STARS 360 information and also teacher information to determine which students will be getting intervention or tier 3 support. And they're in collaboration with the interventionists who are paired with that grade. We will start once we are finalizing the list of who would be getting tier 3 support, or as soon as we have comes up that students will be receiving tier 3 support, which is just either one-on-one or usually two-on-one support from an interventionist. We will be contacting those parents to let them know that that support is being given. And as I said, this week, 4 DL teachers and myself went to foundationals training. DL teachers attended the training first, but then the goal is for gen ed teachers to go next. We just wanted to make sure that not everybody was in meetings on the same day. So yeah, that is it for me. Thank you guys. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Rosenberg. Important news. CPS students will be taking the high school entrance exam on November 9th, 2021. More details will be forthcoming. This exam will replace the selective enrollment exam. We're sharing this information in case any families didn't make the meeting this morning. Beginning in school year 2021-22, schools that teach 5th grade and up must maintain a condom availability program. Making condoms available beginning in 5th grade is aligned with the CPS scope and sequence of sexual health. We are working on our implementation and we have sent communication home to all families. COVID testing. As of October 1st, COVID-19 testing is available in all district-run schools, and we will continue to scale up this effort as demand for testing increases. Parents, please remember to complete the online form if you would like to have your students tested. Please remember that if you recently tested positive within the last 90 days to not register for the COVID testing. Budget review. LSC members, I'm trying something new. So prior to our meeting, I sent a copy of our budget and our internal accounts to every member. Currently in our internal accounts, to show transparency, we have $224,000. The majority of those funds are with FOT, and we will be meeting with LSC in future meetings to discuss how those funds should be spent. Funds. 115, our student-based budget payroll currently has $226,000. Remember, that's to pay teacher salary, benefits, and CTU. 115 student-based non-budget payroll currently has $118,000. Our current total is $344,000. Principal competencies. Continuous improvement for staff and students. Over the last 30 days, we conducted pop-ins to observe instruction in every classroom and provide teachers with feedback. We reviewed CIWP timeline with our HEART team members to determine areas for improvement. What areas have we not started? We're just starting. or have completed. We also implemented fall OST programs that include enrichment and intervention opportunities. And I love to share, we have in-person and virtual options. Powerful professional learning. We planned differentiated PD from feedback from our families and staff who shared their concerns at our last LSC meetings. We developed yearly PD plans with PYP and NYP coordinators. And as you just heard, we gave IEB reports. College and career readiness. We gave our counseling report and we hosted our high school information session to promote college and career readiness. Families and communities. Supporting fundraising efforts with FOT and our fall festival. Another way we've been supporting family and communities is we host monthly principal conversations and we send out bi-monthly community blasts. We've also established a school-wide expectation of sending out weekly newsletters from teachers to all parents in all grades. We're listening to families during our September LSC meeting and implementing outdoor lunch as well. Self-disciplined thinking and action. We also developed the differentiated PD plans to meet the needs of our staff and of our students, such as the pod training and the foundation training. And another way we exemplify self-disciplined thinking and action is we have currently established a strong instructional leadership team, as well as our heart team. Outdoor lunch. I wanted to share a few pictures of the outdoor lunch and just touch bases of last week. We did have 2 protesters who were outside the gate. That's why I had both these pictures. But we did everything to mitigate the issue and to ensure the safety of all students. There was no threat for students at any time. Administration and additional members of our security team and our staff were on grounds during the protest. Interim CEO visits on 9/10/21. We wanted to share that on September 10th, the CEO visited our school. Here are some pictures. He visited classrooms. He met with members of administration and a HAR team. He also met the clinician team, and he visited classrooms from preschool all the way up to our middle school. Parent engagement. Currently, we have 2 school events, our back to school event, which we already had on 8/21, and we have our upcoming fall festival. We hope that all of you can join us on October 23rd. It's from 10 to noon. We host the room parents meet and greet with Principal Gibson. We have parent volunteers for our coaching sports, and we have ongoing family communication from the school and teachers, weekly classroom newsletters, Bulldog Blast, and again, monthly principal conversations. We wanted to send a special thank you to our FOT and LSC for your work in helping to reach and engage all community members. We truly appreciate your support. Please notice these important dates. Local school council members, please let me know if you have any questions or discussions.
Thank you so much, Principal Gibson, and everyone else who chimed in along the way. Thanks so much for sharing the information. Mac, I noticed that you raised a hand earlier. Did you have a question if you'd like to start off?
Yeah, thank you. What I hadn't been familiar with the protests. What were folks protesting?
So they were just sharing, there were 2 people sharing their Christian belief and singing songs outside of the gate. So that brought concern because at first they were disturbing the kids. So one of the things we did is we contacted safety and security, who told us as long as they're not on school grounds, there was nothing we could do. But at no time were the students ever in a threat situation. It was a little uncomfortable, but they were not threatening in any way.
Got it. Thank you.
Kate, I see you had your hand raised. Then Lori, I believe you have something after Kate.
Yeah, I just, when we were talking about the enrollment numbers, I just know from in the past when I would do tours that like this was the really like intensive time of year for trying to recruit new families, get people to apply at all grade levels. And I know that there's a lot of work going on with the website that is really challenging, and there's a lot of work to be done to get that up to date. But I just am a little bit worried about this, like we have this like window of 2 months before applications are due in December. And I was just wondering if we could maybe have some discussion of specific things that we're doing to try to increase enrollment, because I'm just very nervous that this year we kept our budget based on last year's number, but that won't be the case next year, and that we're going to be in a really tough situation if we have this many students next year. And so I was just wondering if we could, I feel like as a school and like fiscally and how we grow and how successful we are, if we can't figure out how to increase enrollment, it's going to challenge everything. And I think with Tubman, with the name change and the positive press we got, I think we have to figure out how we get that out there, because I also worry that families maybe like on message boards and things like that, they heard like, oh, Agassiz is a good place to apply, and not everyone got the memo that we're now Tubman, and that we may have people not applying to us because they don't realize, they haven't followed everything and know that that's the same school with a new name. And so I feel like this is something we kind of need to talk about pretty quickly, because if we don't have a lot of applications, it's very challenging to increase those numbers without applications that are due, by the middle of December.
Hi, Kate. I think you brought up some very valid points, and I just want to address a couple of them, and then some we will continue to work on. So you brought up the school tours. That has been an ongoing conversation. So we are currently in meetings with the HEART team members to decide which members of administration can help institute those. We just cannot have it when students are present due to the COVID policies. So we are trying to work on having a Saturday or Sunday school tours where we can open up the school. Another thing that we've done to promote our school is we're working with GoCPS to ensure that they're updating the information. So I was working with them last week and this week. And then ongoing, please send any suggestions, please, to me at kgibson@cps.edu. And we can also work on hosting a listening session for ideas outside of our LSC meeting that any family members want to bring to help us promote our school and increase enrollment. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Lori, you're up next, and then Sarah, I believe you have your hand raised as well.
Hey, thank you. I wanted to just add about the protesters. I always make the joke, I follow every school. They are not targeting our school. They probably won't be back. They've been hitting all sorts of schools one at a time. Some of them had the police out for 45 minutes, and the police were like, there's nothing we can do. Parents had talked to them. They seem to want you to violate their rights. So I hope that parents know that the school really did everything they could in that moment, but I wouldn't worry that they're going to be coming back, and I wouldn't worry that they were targeting our school. I love all the new communication. I want to thank all the departments. I loved the specials. Like, I feel like everybody's being included now, and I really like that. And I'm of the parents who want more communication. So thank you, everybody who's taking that extra time to send out either individual thoughts or just the big picture. That's really grateful for tonight, having a chance for diverse learners to get their shout outs during this meeting. And I really want to say thank you to all the paraprofessionals. Whoever hired all these new paraprofessionals did an excellent job. My kids are talking about them constantly. I've had the opportunity to meet at least 2 new ones that I didn't know before. And I'm really happy because I feel like my kids are safe and respected and happy that they have these really great staff. So thank you so much, whoever has been doing that hiring. I really appreciate it.
Sarah? Oh, thank you, Lori. And Sarah? If you're talking.
The buttons. First and foremost, just want to say thank you to Principal Gibson, and also big thank you to the team that you work with, teachers and staff. Really exciting to see how the work is getting organized and moving forward. The HEART team, the ILT, thank you for sharing, who are those folks and those key players. And that's always important just for transparency and kind of knowing, who we can reach out to with questions or how we can lean in and support, right? I too had the question that Kate had about the budget. I'm jumping ahead about enrollment, which leads to budget, right? And so would second what Kate shared, and even adding on, thinking about how we as LSC members can lean into that work. And I was just thinking about the committees. I know that there's a communications committee, thinking about the new name and how we can continue to advertise that and champion that. And what we can do to make sure that folks know, hey, we're Tubman. I know from my experience, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, a lot of schools have gone virtual with their school tours just because of the nuances. So I share that idea. And then I know there was a parent who talked about the back to school video. We don't have one for this year. I wonder if that could be a way to do something like that and ask parents to share that with their parents. But lots of ideas I can send those your way. But just thinking about that in terms of the enrollment piece, because inevitably we all know that does impact budget. And really curious to know if the district is talking about anything as it pertains to adjustments or accommodations being made, not only around enrollment and considering kind of the impact of COVID, as well as attendance, right? So if kids are in quarantine and they have those supports, maybe they're, does that count towards attendance? I'm curious if there's rumblings at the district level around how do they account for, how do they adjust? Are they adjusting for kind of the impact? I'm sure our school's not the only one experiencing enrollment challenges as well as attendance challenges in that regard. I just want to also just do a shout out. Really do appreciate hearing. I know there's a huge lift for the IB team and all the teachers who are involved in rewriting those units. Definitely appreciated, the link, doing that work and using standards and the equity lens and the social justice lens to do that. And then I'm excited about the inquiry math units, as well as having a behavioral health team on board for our school, and also recognizing the challenge that we know all of our kids face and coming back into school from 1.5 years and being COVID, and just thanking teachers and staff for their hearts and their work and supporting the students and making that adjustment. So yeah, that's question and comment, and thank you.
So Sarah, the district has not given us information about next year's budget as of yet, of how they're going to factor in COVID and the enrollment numbers. Those are some great questions you asked, and some of them I will take to our administrative meetings and get some clarification. I don't know if we'll have that answer by next LSC meeting, but I think it is a conversation that we need to continuously have. And thank you for suggesting that the communication committee could also support enrollment and attendance. Really appreciate that.
Thank you, Principal Gibson. Thank you, Sarah. Lori, I believe you had something else?
Yeah, just really quick. Along those lines, we were talking about other schools. I was shocked that Hamilton is paying for sponsored Facebook ads for their school. So clearly they're worried about, and for Hamilton used to be really hard to get into, but they're clearly worried about enrollment too, that they're paying for sponsored Facebook ads. So we're not alone out there. And I just wanted to throw that out, that that's one of the things I've seen other schools doing, which I was just very surprised.
Thank you, Lori. Is there anyone else who has questions or comments on the council regarding the principal report? Cindy?
Yeah, really great report. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone that put in the time. And it sounds like, people are figuring out where their strengths are and really getting involved on that level. My question is that we are providing a lot of extra support for the students, which I love to see. I do worry about the staff and where they need support in supporting the kids. And I'm just wondering, you know, they've taken on some new tasks and wearing new hats, and I just want to know where the needs are of the staff in terms of support.
That's a very good question, Cindy. So one of the things that I've instituted as the new leader of the school is to ensure that we do adult SEL at every meeting that we have, whether it's a committee meeting, a GLT meeting, we always start off with SEL for adults as well. We're also adding in differentiated professional development to meet the needs of our teachers as well as our paras. So we're also instituting the meeting with the paras on a weekly basis for professional development, as well as we have money in the budget to support them to get training for interventions, as well as we're listening and trying to address their own individual needs as well. So that's something that we're in the progress of continuing to work on, addressing our adults as well as our students' behavioral health needs and self-care needs.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you, Principal Gibson. Thank you, Cindy. Anyone else have anything? Okay, I just want to echo what many have said so far. Really appreciate the information in the report, Principal Gibson, and it's really nice to see the staff, see their faces and hear from them. That was very, very nice in the level of detail for the information that was shared. So thank you so much for that. Later on in the agenda, we'll get to the committee items where we'll talk about a couple committee updates, but just hearing this discussion, it sounds like it's time to cue the communication committee and get that going. And I think there's definitely some potential there to work with those dealing with the website. And I don't know if Patty is on, but also looking at our social media. It's our social media has been quiet to my knowledge as far as Twitter and Facebook for the school accounts. Someone please correct me if I'm wrong, but if I believe communications is Kate, and Cindy, maybe, is that right? Okay. So I'm going to take the action to follow up with you guys and start working on some items. And Principal Gibson, please let us know any ideas you receive as far as especially getting the word out there to help hopefully up our interest and increase enrollment. Yes.
I was just going to say that I think initially when we had talked about the communication committee, that got derailed a little bit with the Finding Wonderful Principal Gibson. We had mostly been talking about like communication strategies with existing families, and we hadn't been talking as much about the external. That wasn't really going to be the goal of that committee. So I am fine with trying to work on that. But a question I had was, this is kind of more a social media savvy, marketing savvy kind of world, which I am not, because I live under a rock and don't even have Facebook. So I was just wondering if there are people on this committee that maybe weren't signing up for the communication committee, but would be interested in kind of the external facing stuff and are social media savvy. I think it would be great if someone would want to join us, just because I think that's probably what we need to do really quickly on the communications committee, which was different from our initial intent.
Thank you, Kate. And yeah, I agree. And I'm with you on that. Not so social media savvy. My accounts have cobwebs. But I think if we get together and kind of talk about what we think kind of needs to happen, then we can open up to fish for those people that can help us out with that. All right, we have a volunteer already. Thank you, Eliana. We will definitely be reaching out to you and anyone else who is willing to join and help us get that. Whoops, sorry about that. Get that moving. Let's see. Principal Gibson, there have been so many things that you and your staff have tackled so quickly. I mean, the change has been evident right away. And I just want to, the staff has been really engaged as well and taking on so many new responsibilities and just new ways of doing things. And so I just want to remind our committee that there's the fast stuff we can do, and then there's the work we're going to have to dig our heels in and do. And so as we go into the CIWP, I'm going to request, going to ask Principal Gibson if you think the November meeting is a timeline or a time where we could come back to maybe not necessarily all of the action items in the CIWP, because there are a lot of them, but possibly some things that were slated for this time period, and see where we are on those actions, and just so we can, as a community, have a concrete picture of what we plan to do, what's been done, what's working, what maybe we need to adjust, and so we can make sure we move forward in earnest with those specific CIWP items. If that could be possible for the November meeting, that would be fantastic.
Absolutely. And we'll actually share it a little bit with the council members prior to that, because we've been working on that. Okay,
wonderful. Thank you. The IB report, that was fantastic. It's really great to hear that the units are being addressed and redone from all the different angles. Just wondering with what the equity support looks like as far as the input and redoing those units, how that equity lens support is provided.
So that's something we've constantly been talking about. We actually met today as the HEART team. And one way we're addressing the equity is at our next couple of GLTs, we'll be talking about increasing equity and being intentional of implementing all cultures. So if you notice in some of our community blasts, you saw a celebration of Jewish holidays. You saw Indigenous People Day and information being shared, as well as Hispanic Heritage Month. What we don't want to see at Tubman is just because you read one story, we have diversity and equity. We want to implement it in the units and intentional, but also so it's not extra work for our teachers, but intentional work of adding that in. When we have a mathematician that's an Indigenous people, we can introduce one. A famous Hispanic scientist, we can introduce it, and it's not just a one and done or 1 month and done or 1 day and done. But we're implementing school-wide, that we're celebrating other cultures as an IB worldwide school throughout the year, throughout all of our units. So that's some of the work that we're working on. It won't happen overnight. It will take us time, and that's some of those digging our heels and really working with our diversity, equity, and inclusion committee that we just started. And we're partnering, I just want to share, I reached out to Facing History, and so they will be partnering with us to work with our staff and also provide professional development. So those are some things in the works to come.
That's great, thank you. I know there was mention of the challenge of providing those community contacts for students because of COVID, not being able to get out in the community. And I just want to encourage really taking advantage of all the 40 plus zip codes. And I'm hopeful that some of those contacts will be well outside of our school neighborhood. You know, it's technology is so easy. It's easy to go across the pond to other countries and things. And that is wonderful. I think that's a great thing. And I would just also like to encourage going into some of the areas that maybe students never saw someone from their community represented, or as an opportunity for those community engagements. Let's see. Okay. The DL piece. Just want to say that I've received some positive feedback with on a couple items, just the increased level of engagement intent that seems to be going on with our DL students, and also Principal Gibson with your attendance at the meetings for the IEPs. So I just want to send a big shout out to Ms. Rosenberg and you, Principal Gibson, and anyone else who's involved. So please forgive me if I haven't mentioned your name, but just want to send a shout out that I'm hearing great things about that. So thank you. And the weekly newsletter, I definitely love that as a parent of an 8th grader. That's been great. And especially the specials newsletter. That's really nice. That's a very nice touch. So thank you, Mr. Hall, for that. And that's all I have. Is there anyone else? Okay. We will move to the next item is the IB report, but we've already encompassed that with the principal report. So we'll move on to item number 7, fundraising and Friends of Tubman. And I know there are a couple items that we want to discuss there. Lori has probably been chomping at the bit. So we'll address the Hocus Pocus Fall Fest that's coming up. Lori, if you want to give us a little overview of that.
Sure. So we have our Fall Fest, and the Friends of Tubman has been doing a lot of work, and we have been giving you all a break because there's so much focus on the fun run. But we did send out the save the date for Saturday, October 23rd from 10 to noon. And after everybody gets a catch their breath after fun run, we'll be sending out a lot more announcements to remind you of how much fun we're going to have. Just some of the things: there will be games and prizes, pumpkin decorating, costume parade, costume swap, trunk or treat, dance party, lots of fun things. One of the things we talked about adding was like a parent area, like a lounge. And one of the things we want to add to that too is a way for, hold on one moment. Plus having this as an opportunity for us all to get to know each other, because opportunities for us to come into the same space are few and far between right now. So we are asking that everybody wear a mask on school grounds, and we'll try to do some social distancing, but it's going to be a great event. It's not a fundraiser. We want everybody to be able to come, it's not a word, depending on how much money they have, it's not an issue. So we will be having a great time. So stay tuned for more information, and we will be asking for volunteers, especially if you want to do a trunk or treat, if you want to set up your car in the parking lot and hand out trick or treat items. We already have some businesses who've signed up to be represented, some businesses of Tubman families, and it's going to be super duper fun. So there you go.
Thank you very much, Lori. And Patty, are you on the meeting?
I am. Just got home. I went to pick up the Fun Run t-shirts. You'll be excited to see those. I'm going to bring them to the school hopefully tomorrow for the teachers to hand out. So yes, Lori is right. This is going really well, the Halloween event. We are right now in the middle of a major fundraiser, our first annual fundraiser, and I'm happy to report that we are very close to our goal as of this evening. I don't want to say for sure where we're at because I don't want people to not contribute the next couple of days, but we're really close, and I think it's going very well so far. I will report about that at the next LSC meeting once the numbers are all finalized with Booster. The event is happening this Friday, and parents are all welcome to come and cheer on the students. And Booster is going to make it a lot of fun for all. In the afternoon, the middle schoolers will get to take part in a color run. So they're going to get basically doused with color, like kind of like a powder that is washable. Don't worry. It might take a few washings, but it will come off. It's going to be fun. So we're very excited for that event. Tina, did you want me to mention the website? Okay. So we have met I guess you could call us a committee, a website committee. And I am happy to report that the construction sign is now removed from the website officially today. Thank you to FOT board member Charlotte Thorison, who has been working diligently, very hard on the website to make it as up to date as we can. We do need obviously some new updated photos, and there are some minor things that still need to be tweaked on there, but a lot of the major items have been fixed. We are still working with someone who is going to see if we can add Google Translate to our website so that our family members, community, anyone that wants to go on our website and look it up in a different language will hopefully be able to do that. We're working with Neon, who provides the service for our website, and another web guy who kind of knows a little bit about this. So hopefully I should have more information by the next meeting, and maybe even by the next meeting, it'll be all up and running. So definitely moving in the right direction. I know Kate mentioned there was concern about the tours, and we've definitely talked about that. We all want to get that website up and running as quickly as we can. And I think right now, if you guys take a look at it after the meeting, you'll see that there's been a lot of positive changes already on the website. I think that's all that I have, unless anyone has any questions.
Thank you, Patty. Okay, our next item is for committee updates. So first we'll have an update from Sarah regarding the Equity and Engagement Committee, and then from Lori regarding the Tubman Inclusive Education Allies. Sarah?
Thank you, Tina. So I just wanted to provide a brief update on the Equity Engagement Committee. We did meet last week. Thank you for all of those who did attend that conversation. And this meeting, just to provide a quick overview of the Equity and Engagement Committee, the general focus of the committee truly is to provide, to develop and guide and advance initiatives that strengthen and build an equitable learning environment for all at Tubman. And so the committee is advisory in nature and works in partnership with, of course, it's a function of LSC, but then also with the CIWP work that's happening. Great to have Tina on board, who's also a member of the CIWP group, and also grateful in terms of the liaison work that she does with school leadership. So thank you for your attendance, Ms. Tina. I know your hands are full there. So with that said, with the committee, we wanted to ensure that the work moves forward in a coherent, cohesive, safe way. And so we had a conversation about what equity means, how we define that personally, and what that means for our school. And I just wanted to share a couple statements that were shared just so that folks have an idea of kind of what equity means for this committee, and posing on that as food for thought in terms of how that guides our work. And first and foremost, acknowledging the CPS equity definition and framework and the lens that they use, but more specifically, and what matters most is, right, what does this work mean for us in our school? And so some of the things that came up was honoring and recognizing that equity really does encompass many things. When we talk about it, it encompasses how we honor and recognize folks from various racial and ethnic backgrounds. It also recognizes and honors sexual orientation, abilities. So there's a very encompassing spectrum when we look at that idea of equity and what that means. And we also talked about more specifically, what does equity look like in action and in practice? And so thinking about that led to us identifying and decided upon 5 key areas for the committee to work on for this year, and wanted to acknowledge and shout out this recognition that Tina shared with us earlier, is that the work is ongoing. You know, there are some low-hanging fruits that we can tackle within this this calendar, a quarter, but then also acknowledging, recognizing work that we tackle throughout the year and beyond. And in doing that in partnership with the incredible work that's happening at the school, in partnership with families, teachers and staff here at the school as well too. So the five key buckets, if you will, that we're focusing our work for this year is on working in partnership with Principal Gibson and the teams here with the equity data piece. More so looking at kind of what does that look like with families and that perception data in the 5 Essentials survey, how we build those trusting relationships. The CIWP supporting kind of that action plan development work, translation. We know that there's quite a number of families at our school, their first language is not English, so ensuring that we have translation support and making sure that all that we do is accessible for families. We also have a committee that looks at how we cultivate process. There have and continues to be issues at the school that that honestly, are that have hurt kids and families and teachers and staff. And so we want to have a series of forums or having a space where we call this bucket the healing spaces. So how can we identify meeting spaces, conversation spaces in which we can get families together to talk about where hurt happened and talk through that, and then where do we move forward as a school around that. And then the last piece is that outreach piece. And so we're excited to partner and work with Ms. Lori and the folks who are organizing the Halloween Fest, just to kind of broaden the scope and scale of the work itself, and then just doing outreach. We know that the 4 of us who talked last Thursday are not the only ones who are thinking about that, the equity lens, equitable practices, et cetera. And so wanting to just kind of broaden and let folks know that these conversations are happening and that this work is happening, and create that sense of invitation. I'll put in the chat, we did develop an email. If anyone has questions, wants to get involved, or has a strength skill asset that they would love to contribute to the work, that is in the chat. The email address for the committee. We won't be meeting this month because we are doing a lot of work and supporting the outreach effort with the Halloween event, but we will be meeting in November. I'm going to open the floor and ask Cindy or Tina or Lori if there's anything else that you wanted to share from the committee conversation we had.
Thank you, Sarah. Covered it all.
Great. Thank you. I just also wanted to say, just acknowledging that we know that this work is ongoing, and that it's work that's important as we see issues bubble up in the school, right? And so this really can be kind of that lever to help us get through and to places and spaces where we can create more equitable environments in the classroom, at home, between students, et cetera. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Lori?
So we've been talking for a long time, and we finally, I just put it out there again. We do have a committee for Tubman Inclusive Education Supporters. So we have a cute name. We have a Facebook page, but we really need somebody when, like what Sarah just said, the strength, skill, and asset, we need somebody who can help us organize that on a parent side and, put together the meetings and things like that. So if you are interested in learning more and supporting special education at our school, we've had a lot of great contact with Ms. Rosenberg. It's very exciting to have a full-time case manager. Even though they're full-time, they're doing all these other things. And I love all the communication. Ms. Gibson, you've led clearly, having that diverse learner report in the LSC meeting was very exciting. So now we need to get the parents on board. And one of the things that we are looking at doing is hosting an informational night, which would be even easier because virtual is so awesome, especially when you have kids all over the place and other events. It's nice to be able to do this from wherever you are. But we would love to have a night where we can educate parents. What is a 504? What is an IEP? What is reasonable to ask? What is not? How do you get an IEP? How can we meet our service providers? Our school, I think, is very lucky. We have a lot of service providers who are with us full time. And I think that's pretty rare in CPS. How do we include specials teachers with diverse learners? There's so much work to be done. Just like Tina and Sarah were just saying, the work will be ongoing. There's never going to be a completed checklist and go, well, we're done with that. All right, let's go. So there's a lot of work to be done. So I would love if anybody is interested in being a part of this committee, you can reach out to me or Ms. Rosenberg. If you were interested in helping, putting together the Google poll, or what is it called, a doodle, to figure out when the best time for meetings is, as someone who has good organization skills like that, please reach out to me. And I hope that we'll have our first meeting within the next 2 weeks, and that in November we can start working on our virtual night, and just continue to have parents have a strong voice in what is happening. And I feel like our school is ready and accepting for that. Oh, and I also teamed up now just recently, like in the last 2 days. Jan has a really good diverse learner group. They've invited us to attend their meetings. And Peterson is also starting one at the same time we are, and they want to work together. And so all these other schools who are at different stages, who already have really successful, strong programs, want to work with us. And the other schools are like, hey, I want to do this too. They want to work with us. So I feel like we're going to build really good community at our school and further out. And when you're talking about raising attendance, families of diverse learners are always looking for a good school. They're looking for a school like ours. And I think that is somewhere that we as a community should look at. We have a very accessible school. We just did all of that new remodeling. We have an elevator. We have gender inclusive bathrooms. I mean, we have so much going for us. And I'm sorry, the best parent and staff and administration out there. And I think that once people hear that, we'll be, they'll be knocking down the door. But let's think of diverse learners as a market too of people that we want to have at our school. Because I'm really quick. I picked up my kids the other day, and normally my kids have busing in their IEPs, and I got to see all those families at pickup and how awesome everybody is and how happy everybody was, and staff is waving and people are waving. It's a really great community, and I'm really excited to be a part of it. And if you want to work with me on this, please reach out. I would love to have you.
Thank you, Lori. Are there any questions for Lori or Sarah as well? Okay, thank you. Thank you both again so much. And thanks to all of those who have been involved with committees. The next item on the agenda is LSC vacancy fulfillment. As you know, we were down a community member since before the school year ended. And so with the principal selection process, it kind of backburnered getting that replacement. And so I have spoken with the specialist at the Office of LSC Relations, and just wanted to, we are, so with Principal Gibson's hire, we were back at 11. And so Emily, who will be on maternity leave, she is not vacating her seat. Thankfully, she's still going to participate in the council. And so being down at this meeting, Emily, Kate had to leave, and Marilyn also is not present. And we have a community member a seat that's empty. So a council of 12 typically is right now a council of 8. We are still fine to vote. We do still have quorum, but no one else can leave. We're all hostage for now. So let's get this done. But I do want to vote on some proposed dates for filling the community vacancy. Now, Principal Gibson, just want to know the status of the the non-staff position. I did not know Marilyn would not be here tonight.
So I would like to share with you guys tonight. I was waiting for the right time. But I am informed that Marilyn got a promotion and she will become a EA for one of the network chiefs. So she will be with us till October 24th. So there will be another vacancy for a ESP, paraprofessional rep.
Okay, thank you, Principal Gibson. And now my understanding with that position that does require a different process than what we have to do for the community position. And so that as long as you're okay with it, that ball will be in your court basically to go through the process. Okay, thank you. So with the, we do need a community member, and the process is pretty much the same as with a election as far as submitting the candidate information. There will not be an election. The seat will be filled by appointment by the council voting on the candidates who submit their information. And so what I would like to propose is that we advertise the seat vacancy on the website as well as at the school, and perhaps a blast through Aspen by Sunday, October 10th. Get that information out there, and then allow 2 weeks for our community members to submit their information. And I would encourage all of us, if we know someone in the community who would be a good fit for Tubman and our and the work we're trying to do and the way we go about that work, to please encourage them to submit their information as a candidate, but leave that position, I should say, allow candidates to submit information for up until the 26th of October. And then that would give us LSC members about a week to look at any information that's submitted, and then come to our November meeting and invite those candidates to also attend the meeting and to address those at the board and those at our meeting. And then we would move into closed session as a committee and discuss those candidates, and then come back into open session and vote on who we would like to fill that seat. The information submitted by candidates in posting the opening of the seat, we would provide the information on where they can get the information that they have to submit, and then that would be has to be delivered to the school and copied. And so one copy would stay with the school, and the original would need to be provided to the Office of LSC Relations. Is there any discussion or questions about what I've proposed?
Tina, quick question. It sounds like a good plan. I was wondering, in the stuff that goes out, are we are we requiring them to be at the November meeting if they do want to be a candidate? I know a couple of years ago when we were filling parent vacancies, it was like some parents came to the meeting, some didn't, and that just felt kind of awkward. So like, would we be requiring them to be at the meeting, and are they expected to present, or is that just up to them because they've already given us information? That would be the only thing I think we should add or discuss.
Thank you, Nick. Yeah, that's a really good point. Personally, I don't feel like anyone should be forced to present necessarily, but I do feel like they should be present, because once they are appointed, then they take the seat immediately. And if we have business to conduct, they will be involved in that business. And so I feel like that should be an expectation communicated, that that they would be present, because we're all expected to be here as board members unless we have some extenuating circumstance. So I'm perfectly fine with laying that expectation for candidates. Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to make a motion. Well, actually, before I do that, I want to know if there's someone who would like to volunteer to be a second pair of eyes on that communication that goes out to announce the vacancy. I'm happy to draw it up, but would love if someone could check my spelling. Thank you, Mac. Okay, I'm going to make a motion that the LSC proceed with the activities to fulfill the community rep vacancy on the council as I've outlined with the dates and expectations that we've discussed at this meeting. Just to recount, that is post the position by the October 10th, accept candidate information through, I think it's 3 p.m. according to the the LSC guidance, 3 p.m. on 10/26, and then vote for filling that vacancy at the November 3rd regular meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
I second.
Okay, is there any additional discussion on the motion? Okay, all in favor of the motion as presented, please raise your hand. Okay, it appears unanimous. Thank you. And Mac, I will get something drafted up right away and get that to you. Principal Gibson, for the non-teaching staff position, just please let us know any support you need, and we can revisit at the November meeting as needed. Cindy, is that still your vote hand, or did you have a question, hon?
When are you posting? You're posting a vacancy?
By the 10th. So
Okay.
so in the next day or so, I'll get something together and so it can be out
Okay,
and on
thanks.
the website. Mm-hmm. But it'll stay open for a couple weeks, of course. So candidates will have a couple weeks to submit information. Okay, that completes the new business. And now we will move on to old business, the public participation. Did we have anyone sign up?
We have 3.
Okay, Mac, if you could proceed, please, with the.
Yep. Members of the public are welcome to make comments and ask questions, but must sign in to participate. The public is called upon to speak in the order they sign in. The public is kindly requested to limit their comments and questions to 3 minutes. Based on the comments or questions, the principal may address some concerns directly and, if necessary, create an action step for the LSC to follow up with the involved parties at a later date. While the LSC will do its best to address any comments or questions, when necessary, more time may be needed to adequately address a particular concern. And I'll have a timer for 3 minutes, and I'll say right around 3 minutes, your time's about to be up. First on the list is Dana Carmen. Dana, if you're speaking, we can't hear you. All right.
I don't see her in the meet, Mac.
Yeah. Next on the list is Laura Franz.
Hey, everybody. Just going to read, so it's fine. I'm going to look over here. It's just me again. Thanks for the meeting. It was great updates. And I just had to sign up this month to speak, as October is Dyslexia Awareness Month. Did you know that dyslexia is the most common learning disability? 1 in 5 kids are affected by it. And did you know that dyslexia can range from mild to severe? And around 40% of people with dyslexia also have ADHD. According to the NIH research, of those who are placed in special education for a specific learning disability, around 80% of those have dyslexia. They're also very creative, great problem solvers, think outside the box, are resilient, and are good at seeing the bigger picture. So kids who are dyslexic, along with kids that struggle to learn to read, require an explicit and systematic approach to literacy. My main hope for all our Tubman kids in K through 2 is that just specifically that 3 cueing approach is eliminated, as research tells us those are the habits of struggling readers, along with predictable text. This combination allows the kids to get by in K through 2 without a solid grasp of reading foundation skills. Then in 3rd and 4th, they can no longer use those cues and they start to fall apart when they begin reading to learn and they are no longer learning to read. So I was so happy, maybe we can get some pom-poms, Lori, to hear that the 5 staff members were able to, thank you, access the beginning of Wilson training yesterday. Thank you. When that Wilson is a structured literacy program. And as Principal Gibson has said, she wants to make sure it will be implemented with fidelity, and investing in our teachers is the only way to do that. I know it's only the start and there's a lot of those trainings and it takes time, but I'm excited to see that we have begun the investment. So thank you. In the meantime, I know kindergarten is getting a program in phonics, and I hope 1st, 2nd, and 3rd will also have an extra emphasis on those foundational skills. On another note, more pom-poms, please. I'm happy to hear that student council is beginning and that any interested students will be involved. You may have already been planning this, but I was wondering if maybe 1 or 2 of those student council members could attend these meetings each month and maybe take turns reporting to you guys, the LSC, maybe an honorary LSC member for that month. And also, this is really, are you ready, Lori? October is also National Principal Month. Maybe a little extra pom-poms. Thank you. Big shout out to our new admin. You guys came to the school ready to rock and roll, and it's been impressive watching you get things done. We appreciate your level of commitment, compassion, and dedication you've shown in these short few weeks, and very excited to see where you will lead us and as you build towards our future. Ms. Gibson, we also appreciate the dedication you've shown to the school community while also caring for your daughter. And I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I can see from your background, you're actually doing this meeting from the hospital. So just wow. We're wishing her and your family the speedy recovery. And finally, a shout out to the LSC. Pom-poms, please. Thank you. I want to personally thank you all for listening to me over 8 months or so, whatever it's been. Tina's met with me, Lori's emailed with me, Kate, Cindy, Sarah. You guys have all brought up a voice to my concerns during the meetings by continuing to ask questions. I'm really hopeful with this LSC, our really fantastic admin, along with our amazing teachers we have, I think great things will really continue to happen at Tubman. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
Well timed as well. Last on our public comment list is Cindy.
I didn't know if I had to sign up, so I did.
Yeah.
We just kind of are curious about what's going on with the school lunches, and the lack of nutrition that is and quality of food that's happening. I think not just at our school, but it's happening probably district wide. But I'm curious about it, and I'm kind of wondering what our plan is going forward.
Thank you, Lori. I mean, no, thank you, Cindy. But Lori, thank you for the pom-poms too.
Dollar Tree, $1, well spent.
Principal Gibson, I'll give the floor over to you to address as you see fit.
So I'd like to say thank you for all of the public participation this evening. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Lori, for the pom-poms. Cindy, as you might know, the nutrition is dealt with by district. So at the school level, we have no control. I will email you some information that I shared with Lori and a contact person for you to express those concerns with at the district level.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so I reached out because parents were talking on social media just about the food, and it became a bigger topic, and I offered to volunteer to put it. So instead of Principal Gibson, especially in that first week, getting 20 different emails from parents, I would take all that thought in. So I totally understand that when it comes to what we're being provided, that's coming out to the system. And just so everybody knows, there's actually a huge conversation happening right now on Raise Your Hands Facebook page that there is a food shortage basically, and they're trying to blame it on the pandemic, but whatever. So there is an issue at numerous schools about how much food we're getting. So usually what's been happening is it's running out before the end of the day. Many schools are running out of the vegetarian options. There's a huge issue. And so I thank Ms. Gibson for sending that out to us, and trust me, we'll be following up on that part of it. But what we also would like to know, there's two parts that are the school's issue. Who is our new person? Because you gave me a great contact and then they never responded and disappeared. They're gone. So who will be our new nutrition person at school? Like, who's in charge of that? Second, where can we reach out to all the teachers? Because what we're hearing from class to class, grade to grade, and you heard me, you were there at fifth grade curriculum night, we're hearing different things about how kids can order food. The school-wide, the policy in CPS as a child, if they bring a home lunch, they should be able to get a free milk if they take a fruit and vegetable, but I'm hearing that that's not happening. Some schools are ordering, or some classes are ordering a little extra food. What is happening with the excess food? So who can we talk to on a school level for, there's the things we can't control, but we can fight, but then the things at the school level that we can have more of an active say in.
All right. So Lori, currently we have been having subs, so I don't have a name of a permanent person as of yet. So we've had different district managers help sub at our school. That's interesting that you said the kids aren't being allowed to get a milk because we're eating outside. So all kids have access to come up and get it, whether they brought it or not. So that's something that I'll have to look more into. And I'm out there with them. I usually see kids coming up. But if there is a kid who was specifically told no, or if there was an inclement day and they weren't allowed, please send me an email so I can follow up with that, because that wasn't brought to my attention till today.
Can we meet one of those district managers who might be coming out to sub and be like, hey, since you're here, for example, Cindy and I would love to meet with one of those district people face to face.
Actually, Lori, I do have someone you can contact. His name is Pedro. I'll shoot you the information tomorrow, okay? It's on my desk.
Lori and Cindy, we could also consider having this as an agenda item for a future meeting if we want to talk it through as a group.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mac.
I was going to see with the thumbs up. I move that we add for next month's agenda an item on the food policy.
I just love being on this LSC, and I love all of it. I love the parents and the staff. This is just fun.
Okay. All right. I believe that's it for. Cindy, did you have something else? No. Oh, okay. Okay. So I believe that's it for public participation. Is that correct, Mac? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your responses, Principal Gibson. So now we'll get into item 11, action items and next steps. Although the September minutes have not been completed yet and will be reviewed at the November meeting, I did not see any open action items from that meeting that we need to revisit. I believe everything was addressed. And so far for this meeting, Cindy, do you want to go over what you have, or you want me to state action items? You're on mute, but your face is saying a lot.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, sorry. Could you read my lips? I lost everybody. So action items. Oh my gosh, we have so many. Do you want me to go? Could I just put those in the minutes coming up, or do you want to?
Can you list them off to us now, just to make sure we're all have the same understanding?
Oh my gosh. Okay, where are we gonna go? Let me go back. Action items. Let me just look. think what I have a lot. Okay. I think starting the action items, we are going to fill the vacancies in the local school council. Did we have anything before that? Did you feel like we had to act on? Or no?
You know, the only thing I had was for the CIWP detailed information as far as the action item status for the November meeting. So we'll be that'll be covered at the November meeting.
Yes. Okay. I got that. And then, okay. And then Principal Gibson will follow the protocols to fill the ESP rep for the local school council. Tina, you will post the vacancy on 10/10, and we will have our finalists have their deadline is 10/26. And then we will have those finalists attend the November 3rd meeting, and we will vote to fill that vacancy. And then we will add the agenda item to discuss our school food plan for the next meeting. And I think that's it.
Can I add one? Can you add report on the first ties meeting? Because if I feel like if I put it in there that I have to report back at our next meeting, I'll make sure that we get our meeting up and running before then.
Okay.
It will be an update.
Okay, so yeah, we'll I'll list you specifically in the committee updates as before. And you know, actually there was one I just remember I need to follow through for the communication committee to see about the social media.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Did anyone have anything else?
Ms. Gibson, I heard you say that you need photos for the new website, or someone said, Patty was saying that if you ever want me to come in with the fancy camera and take some staged photos or natural photos or whatever you want for the website, I'd be happy to volunteer to do that.
Okay. All right, the next meeting date is our regular meeting for November, which is November 3rd at 6 p.m. We will be remaining virtual as that is our discretion, and we have great attendance, and why all get together in the room if we don't have to. So the next meeting will be virtual. And if there's nothing else, the next item is to adjourn. Is there a motion?
I'll motion, Lori.
Second?
I'll second.
I'll second.
Okay, that's been motion and second to adjourn this meeting. Is there any discussion? All in favor of adjourning, please raise your hand. It is unanimous. This virtual meeting of the Harriet Tubman LSC is adjourned at 7:40 p.m. Thank you, everyone, board and members of the public, for dialing in and participating. Have a great evening, everyone. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.